It was one of those perfect summer weekends, the kind where the air smells like sunscreen and barbecue, and the lake glistens under a golden sun. My friends had driven up from the city, eager to escape the noise and crowd. I had promised them a peaceful, relaxing weekend at my lakefront property, and so far, I was delivering. My house sat on 5 acres of land, a generous slice of heaven tucked into a quiet, wooded corner of the lake. The shoreline wrapped gently around my backyard, with a small dock stretching into the water. I had spent months cleaning it up, planting wildflowers, installing lights, even building a fire pit near the edge. It was private, secluded, and legally mine. Every inch of it. By Saturday afternoon, my guests were already sprawled out on the dock with beers in hand, while a couple of the kids splashed in the shallows under the watchful eyes of their parents. I was at the grill, flipping burgers, enjoying the sound of laughter and waves lapping against the rocks. Then I saw her. A woman in her 50s, maybe early 60s, power walking down the narrow trail that cut between the woods and the waterline. Her short, choppy hair bounced with each step, and a pair of oversized sunglasses masked her expression. But I knew the type. She wore her HOA badge like a sheriff's star, clipped to a lanyard that swung dramatically against her chest. She didn't wave, didn't smile, just marched straight up to the dock, arms folded, a deep frown already forming. "Excuse me," she called, in that high-pitched voice that's somehow both nasal and grating. "You can't have all these people out here. This is a private lake." One of my friends, Liam, glanced up from his chair and blinked in confusion. Yeah? We're on private property." She turned to him with the tight-lipped intensity of someone used to being obeyed. "Exactly. And this shoreline is HOA regulated. You can't just invite outsiders to use it. Residents only." I stepped away from the grill and walked over, trying to keep my tone polite. "Can I help you with something?" She turned to me with a huff. "Yes. I'm Karen Fletcher. I'm on the HOA board for Timberlake Shores. We've had issues lately with unauthorized guests using the lake and causing disruptions. Loud music, litter, alcohol, that sort of thing." My friends and I exchanged looks. There was no music playing. The kids were chasing frogs, not tossing beer cans. Karen continued, "If these people aren't residents or immediate family, they need to leave." I took a breath, keeping my voice calm. "Karen, this property isn't part of Timberlake Shores." She narrowed her eyes. "Excuse me. This land," I said, gesturing around, "was never incorporated into the HOA. It's a private parcel that predates the development. I own it outright. The shoreline, the dock, the woods, all of it." Karen blinked, thrown off just enough to hesitate. "That's not possible. This entire area falls under the Timberlake Shores Covenant. It has to." I walked toward the edge of the dock, then pointed to the small stone marker just visible near the trail, the old survey line that had been there since the 70s. "See that? That's the boundary. Timberlake Shores ends there. Everything this side is mine." She looked stunned, like someone had told her Santa wasn't real. "That can't be right. I've lived here for 20 years. I walk this trail every day." "I believe you," I said. "But you've been walking on private property." "I haven't made a fuss because I value being a good neighbor. But now you're trying to tell me what I can do on my own land." One of the kids called from the water, "Mom, can we roast marshmallows later?" Karen flinched. "There's open flame? That's against HOA fire safety." "There's no HOA here," I said more firmly. "You don't have jurisdiction." She opened her mouth, then closed it. A little red crept into her cheeks. Her eyes flicked toward my friends, who were clearly watching with a mix of amusement and disbelief. "I'll need to see some kind of proof," she said stiffly. "Sure," I said, already walking toward the house. "I've got the deed and survey in the office. You're welcome to wait out here, but I'd prefer you stayed off my dock. It took me less than 5 minutes to return with the paperwork. I handed her the manila folder without a word. She flipped through the pages, her face falling with each line. Finally, she handed it back like it was covered in mold. Well, she said, clearing her throat, you should really consider joining the HOA. It's in the best interest of the community. I'll think about it, I said, knowing I absolutely would not. She lingered awkwardly for a moment, as if trying to regain her footing. But the wind had been taken out of her sails. With a final sniff, she turned and walked back up the trail, a little faster than before. Once she was out of earshot, Liam laughed. Was that real? Did she seriously try to kick us off your land? I told you, I said, shaking my head. She's an HOA Karen. Can't stand the idea of anyone not under her thumb. The rest of the weekend went off without another hitch, but the story stuck. My friends wouldn't stop teasing me, joking about installing HOA signs and clipboards at the end of the dock. But beneath the laughter was a sense of disbelief, that someone could be so entitled, so convinced of their authority, that they'd walk onto a stranger's land and start issuing orders. The kicker came a week later. I was sitting on the porch sipping coffee when a certified letter arrived from Timberlake Shores HOA. It was addressed to Resident, Parcel Number 47. I opened it out of curiosity and immediately burst out laughing. The letter, full of formal language and condescension, informed me that I was in violation of community standards for hosting unapproved guests, operating a dock without inspection, and lighting an open fire pit. It was signed, of course, by Karen Fletcher. I called the number listed at the bottom and was routed to a board secretary named Denise. When I explained the situation, she groaned. Oh Lord, Karen again. Seems like it. We've told her before, your property isn't in the HOA. She keeps forgetting. Or ignoring, I said. Denise chuckled. Probably both. I'll take care of it. You won't be bothered again. I hung up feeling a mixture of amusement and relief. Still, I wasn't taking chances. The next weekend, I put up 2 signs, small, tasteful, but clear. Private property, not part of Timberlake Shores HOA. Trespassers will be escorted by mosquitoes. Asterisk asterisk. The sign did the trick. Karen steered clear after that. Though once or twice I spotted her on the far side of the trail, glancing over like a guard dog forced to stay behind the fence. In the end, it became a bit of a legend around here. The day Karen froze. My friends still bring it up every summer when they return. They'll step onto the dock, crack a beer, and grin. So, they'll ask, any new HOA violations this year? And I'll smile, glance at the water, and say, nope. Just peace, quiet, and my own damn rules. Thanks for watching.